So today we're going to do stuff a little bit differently, in a sense that I haven't prepared anything beforehand, and what we're going to do is basically search for bugs and fix them on the spot. Okay, and that will happen because it's important to start getting into the notion that when you find a bug you have to fix it, both to know how to fix it by yourselves and what to look out for, and what in some cases what you can do or what needs to be done and stuff like that. Okay, so I've already know that there's a few bugs, okay, here and there. We're going to fix them. We're also going to re-enable the climbing that has to do with the advanced third-person controller and not with the climb system, and we will see how we can actually fix it and making it work with everything that we already have in here. So the first bug, obviously, if you are familiar with the concepts, this is really easy to do because you can guess what the problems is. Okay, the first bug we're going to tackle with is this one. Okay, you can see that the camera goes haywire and it's a mess. Now, why this happens is, if you remember, we have of course added on the previous video for the advanced third-person controller, is because we've added camera collision. Now the camera collisions will basically reposition the camera based on if it finds an obstacle or not. It might seem that it doesn't find an obstacle here, but if you remember, we have a collider for these ledges, okay, and we have them so that we know when we are hitting, so we can move from here to here or from here to here and stuff like that. So we need this collider. Okay, this is going to be an easy way to fix this. So we're going to add a new layer, and we can actually create either a new one or just search and see if we can find something that works with the camera. But we're going to fix it by just adding a new layer. So let's call this ignore camera collision, or we're going to write it this way. We can add it into ignore raycast, but then we will have to check if anything else, any other behavior like the climbing and all stuff like that, has to do with the we will have to check more stuff, and it's way easier this way. Okay, it's simpler. We will have to check only less stuff. So we're going to go into our camera handle. I'm pretty sure we have ignore layers. Okay, going to take this, we're going to bit shift it, and it was layer 13, layer 11. Let's save, let's hit play. Let's climb up there. Okay, now as far as bug concerns, I will not talk about problems with the animation or small stuff like that. Obviously we do not have that many animations. If we did, then we wouldn't have that many problems. And I can see that there is still a problem, and because guess why? Because we actually forgot to actually assign the layer. Okay, so we have hanging ledge 1, 2, and I think there's one more. No, we might have gotten them all. Okay, set them as ignore camera collision, and we're done. So you can see that it's not always something with the scripts, even though that, okay, we had to add something in the script, but it's not always the scripts that have to be adjusted to fix a bug. Okay, and you can see that the camera collision only works with with the way it's supposed to work with this collision. Okay, so that's fixed. And there's that. The other one I know there is if we go upwards and we're moving, and we're over here and we want to fall down, and oops, yeah, there is a sweet spot that if you are holding space and you know when you're going down, okay, this sometimes work, but some other times if you are a little close over here, okay, you see this happens. So the reasons why this shouldn't happen is of course because there is a whole wall over here, and of course there is the whole distance it traveled, which makes no sense. So let's go and fix that. Obviously this is going to be on the climb behavior, and we need to take a look on to where we actually look if we can climb or not. Okay, and here's the troublemaker, which is the character on edge. Now, if basically how it's if we have character on edge, okay, if state says that there is no ground forward and and we're not jumping, then it's going to look and do, you know, the hook it does with the Reka, so it sees if it can climb there. Basically, the easiest way to fix this will be else if states, since we've added the new controller, okay, we have an obstacle forward because we're already doing a recast to see if we hit something in front. Okay, then it's going to find this, and it says, you know, you have a wall in front of you, so ignore everything, you cannot go beneath it. And if I saved, which I think I did, but let's try it now, and let's try to go over there. So this didn't work, and let's see why it didn't work. And to do that, we're going to see if it actually enables it, the obstacle forward. Yeah, and the obstacle forward, as you can see, it opens when I pressing an input. It only works, it only finds the obstacle then. So let's see if we can change that. Let's search for obstacle forward, which is this, and let's find by all references, and we know it's inside the state manager. It starts as obstacle forward as false, but we're going to simply do a cut, and we're going to see, we have to see where is the proper way to, you know, to make it false. And actually I'm going to leave this over here, and I'm going to comment it out just in case in the future we need to change it. Let's try this now. Okay, you can see that the obstacle forward stays on if it doesn't stay on. So we need to check a few more stuff right now. So let's take it from the top. We have we start basically our fixed update. Okay, the fixed tick is the fixed update, and to make sure it's the fixed update, we also need to see where we call it, and of course I know I call it from the fixed update. Now we check if we are on the ground. We've seen already these behaviors. Okay, and we now need to check if there is something in front of us, which is not over here, is way to the top. Over here, if we are on the ground, then we are doing a raycast forward, which is this, if it's clear. Okay, and it's going to update the obstacle forward if it is or not. So let's go over here, it's clear, let's go inside, raycast hit. Okay, it does the raycast it needs to do. If it hits something and if the number of hits is higher than 2, then it's going to say hit true. So let's test this, because we probably, if we are on the sides like this, okay, if we go into the scene, let's see if we have 3 hits. It probably has 2 hits, but we need something more than 2 hits. Let's see if it works now. And it doesn't, for some reason. And it doesn't, but it still opens when there is input. So we still have something that blocks this behavior to come and, you know, basically make the obstacle forward to open. And let's see if we can find it. Clear, distance check clear. And the problem is, I think, we are somewhere over here, because let's see, because our move direction changes based on the input. Okay, this is created every frame. Then that means we have to, it basically looks that the transform forward is not the same, or, you know, it sees the angle between these two. It says that's greater than 30, the difference. So, you know, it's going to make the obstacle forward to false. If I remove this, it will probably say and see that all the, and if it opens the obstacle forward, and that actually works. And we can move the opposite way. So yeah, you can see that we actually had to remove stuff instead of adding, and we can go forward. Let's try to emulate the problem we had with this that was hanging over here. Okay, so it's basically this. So we fixed it. Now let's make sure that what this is. So, you know, just in case we might have wanted or needed it. So with the first glance, I don't think that we're going to need it. So comment it out, or you can delete it. In any case, it doesn't matter. And in this case, we can actually just delete or comment out the whole else part. Okay, so this what was basically was that it makes sure that when you are hitting an obstacle, then if the angle between your forward and the move direction was greater than 30, then it was just making sure that you can move. But because we checked and we tested our game and saw that there wasn't any problems with it, then that means we're pretty much covered. Okay, so we're done also with this. And of course, if you notice something else, then we can also fix it. Okay, I think let's test it 5 times, and if 5 times we do not have this behavior, we're going to call it fixed. Okay, let's test it one more for good measure. Oops, I didn't want to do that, but yeah, we've fixed this. So the other thing I was thinking is there is actually no reason why we cannot have both the dynamic climbing we have on the advanced third-person controller and have also both the advanced climb system, since both are a whole different thing. So I'm going to copy paste this, and I'm going to bring my collider, my controller, I'm going to bring this down. Let's rotate it, no problem. Okay, let's make sure first about the height of this, and I think it's about the right size. So let's go into our state manager. We are already on our state manager. So to enable again the climbing, we should go over here. If you remember, we have can vault over, and we also have climb over, which if I do the references, we probably have it nowhere. Okay, so let's remove this. Let's remove this, and to see if we can actually climb over this. And oops, was it this? Yeah, we need to actually check a bit more stuff. Let me, because I lost it. Okay, we are over here. This will check for the walk up. So yeah, I was correct. We need to remove this. So this will check if we are climbing up. Now, however, we're going to add if hit, or I think we have somewhere yeah, let's add it this way. Get a component in children climbing manager. Obviously we can be a little bit more careful with this, or write it a little bit better. It won't matter at this point. Okay, if it doesn't have any manager control, any manager, then it's going to do this. It's going to climb. Now you can mix stuff, but I'd say you shouldn't really mix stuff, so that if you hit something, if it hits a collider that doesn't have the manager, so it doesn't have any climb points, okay, then just I wouldn't really necessarily mix both. Let's see this if it just plays out of the box though, and it doesn't, because we probably have to enable something else. Let's see, as a box slider, and actually it might have been a little bit higher. I'm just trying to make sure any problems I have are not from other stuff I did. Let's see if the other stuff works at this point. So this works, so that means we, the stuff we did with the obstacle forward weren't necessarily blocking our way. Let's see if we can, and we can vault. Okay, so we're just making sure everything works at this point. I know it's not really that fancy as you might have imagined, but that's how it is. Let's comment this out and let's see if it's now going to work. You can see that we are spending all this time actually writing less and less code trying to fix an error or a bug or something, and you can see now that this is an actual problem. So let's see what is going to happen if we lower it even a little bit more, and this time we were going to climb, but of course we got an error, and the error is, of course, we haven't assigned the climb curve, and to do that we need to go over here, not over here, this loads, where do we get this? and climb curve. Let's call it from over here. So we probably need to assign it somewhere on start, I believe. And here it is. Okay, let's leave it like this. Let's hit play. After it compiles, of course. And we actually need to have a prefab, from what I can see. We forgot to add the prefab. And we should probably build the parts. Resources, holder, controller. Okay, so I haven't yet got the prefab from the other, so let's recreate it. We're going to create, and I'm going to call this climb curve, and I'm going to check the actual name. This is just an empty game object. Okay, I'm going to get the actual name and I'm going to rename it. So we're going to go on our game objects, create other Bezier curve. We're going to parent it under our empty game object, and we're going to say we're going to reset the position and delete and leave only 2. We're going to set this up as not closed, okay, because it's not closed, obviously. Okay, otherwise our guy is going to go and move along. And we'll just go over here and set this to 0 and set this to something like this, and we're just going to reverse the handles. Okay, this is going to be placed automatically, but you can kind of fix it like this. You can also play with the values over here. Doesn't matter, since we only have 2 points, you know, then you can only adjust 1 point. Something like this, I believe, should be fine. Let's bring it like this. Now notice that notice the axis I'm making them. Okay, like the Z axis is basically the forward of this, and something like this I believe should work. Now let's make this a prefab. Let's drop it. So it only matters to be under a resources folder. Okay, so let's drop it already in the climbing and resources. Okay, so this is called curve holder TPC. So that has to do with the, you know, with the third person controller and not with a climb system. Let's try it now. Okay, and it works like a charm. Obviously we might need to adjust you know, the curve or stuff like that, so you can do it this way. You can place it somewhere that it actually makes sense to you. Hit apply, and this is probably going to be a little bit better. Okay, and just like that. Now the same stuff still counts, that the hands are actually a little bit different. You can keep playing, trying to fix this either with the curve or with the script. Okay, there's no OK on the hands. We can do it, but yeah, it's basically just finding the corner you see over here, and placing the hands over there. Okay, it's not really yeah, we might see it on another video. Okay, so there's also one small problem we have over here, and that's why, because we probably need to again open to make a skip. Let me go find it. Climb over. Let's add this now, and let's also add skip ground check and make this to true. Let's see if this works. and it definitely works, as you can see. Okay, and okay, the foot key might make it a little bit weird over there, but we only care that it actually works. We can also place a little bit of more offset into our final position. So we're going to climb over. We have somewhere the change we do on, and I think this is it. This is the maximum height. Recast, walk up threshold, walk up, climb up. We need to see where we actually place the final point. So I'm going to do climb curve, and it's not called like this. Let's go to the top. So basically, yeah, this is a large part of my day, what I do. Okay, and where was it? I'm sure we were, yeah, let's search it from over here. Need phase, start. We should have let's do it with no. Oh yeah, we were on the wrong script. How clever. Climb curve. Okay, climb curve. We get the points we have, and we add 0.05. Let's make it 0.1, and let's see the change, if it fixes, you know, the feet going a little bit off the ground. Yeah, still didn't do a lot of stuff, but the other way you can do it is by basically adding the foot K, or you know, adding another curve on the climb up height, the same way I've added on the previous video. Or you can just simply when you're over here, start blending with the other one. Okay, this might be a little bit too fast, but let's keep it and let's see. Yeah, this was a little way too fast, probably. Let's leave it like this. Okay, yeah. Of course, there is a lot of room for improvement. Let's see if it now works fine with this, and it does. And you have both your climb points and your previous, you know, the climbing for the other two parts, for the third-person controller, basically. So you now have two climb systems. Yeah, this might be a little bit too far away, so let's bring this. Let's do what we had before, and let's do it like this. Hit apply. Especially at this point, this stage of the project, there is a lot of tweaking around, a lot of changing stuff, and you can see that more solutions will actually you reach into a solution completely by accident sometimes. Okay, but it's all in a day's work. Okay, and everything seems to work exactly like fine. So let's go and let's try and test it more. Okay, just to make sure we have everything working. Although there's no reason why it shouldn't work, since when we are climbing, we're basically disabling a whole different any other controller we might have. We simply disable them when we are climbing. So, you know, there shouldn't be a reason why it shouldn't work. And over there I saw there was a bit of an error, so let's try to replicate that. And it's probably, I have a guess what that is, because you saw that the velocity automatically, or clamped itself, so we lost all our velocity there. So that means somewhere where we apply our velocity something is wrong, and we basically went and lost our velocity. And yeah, I found it. When I once press forward and not keep it, then the moment we enable the controller, we'll lose all our velocity. Let's see what we can do about this. We're going to go climb behavior, and it's probably jump forward something. Okay, let's search with this. Jump forward. You can see what we are doing over here. Okay, enables the controller and it keeps it kinematic until we are adding the force. Okay, so this part is correct. So what probably is changing is that we have somewhere on our state manager or our controller, since we apply forces with the velocity. Okay, and you can see it over here. Then that means, yeah, if this, or if the target velocity is at 0, then it's going to kill our velocity. So this is probably the culprit. So what I'm going to do is, and let's go to our climb behavior over here, and I'm going to say states.obstacle forward equals false, and let's say states on ground equals false again. So we're basically hard coding stuff, and I'm going to bring this guy, let's bring him somewhere else so that we do not have to climb all that. And let's only take one ledge. Okay, since there is no point in getting all of them, this should probably work. Let's get over here, let's climb, let's get to that ledge. Okay, and I'm going to press the forward button and immediately leave it alone. And just like that, we fixed another one. Okay, so we pretty much in under 30 minutes you can see that we fixed, not only we fixed, we've added also one more behavior. Now what I need to check is actually, no, I do not need to check it, because if I add a climb point into this, okay, that means I will have to add a manager script. Then that means it cannot dynamically climb over top of this. Okay, so it's a problem that solves itself out. So yeah, I'm going to end the video here. I think I made my point. If you obviously there's going to be a few more bugs which we're going to fix when we see it. Feel free to also comment, and if you find anything, or send me an email, or get in touch with me. Okay, but the most important thing is to take from this video, okay, we didn't add new stuff, or we just did an important learning, an important lesson, which is how to basically debug our code and our game. And the reason why it was that fast, okay, and it only took us, as you can see, it only took us 30 minutes for basically adding a few symbols here and there. Okay, the only reason this works is because I know my code and I understand the concepts, and that's why I'm doing the videos like this. First, and foremost, you need to understand the concepts, and if you understand the concepts, then you have no problem fixing anything you want, okay? Because you know how, if you see a bug, where this can originate, or whatever, okay? So you can pretty much guess. After this point, it's just guesswork, but you can say that again. If you understand the concepts, it makes your workflow way faster. So you also code better, create better stuff, because you do not have to to relate so much on tutorials and other stuff. So okay, you need I hope I sold you into why we do the videos this way, and why it's important to understand the concepts for and foremost, instead of just writing the code you see on the screen. Okay, so this is basically, it was a little bit different type of video. However, I think it's still important. So you know what to do. Like, subscribe, and if you like what we're doing or what I'm doing, okay, then feel free to support me on Patreon or grabbing a project or two, including this one, of course, and a lot more to come. And I'm actually really excited to work with because I know what projects I'm working on. Okay, so I'm actually excited to show you, but it's going to be a little bit more time to to wrap things up, but we're going to have a lot of more fun, trust me on that. So I'll see you next time.